Hey guys, first regardsman here, and I'll be talking about a Pyreblaster tactical build for patch 11.0 Space Marine 2. And now the Pyreblaster is still one of the strongest weapons this game has ever seen. The burn damage will wipe out bosses, it will wipe out Majoris, Extremis. It is really ridiculous how much damage this thing can actually put out. Now, on the public test server, all of the burn damage was healing you contested health. That is no longer the case in the official patch 11.0, but to be honest, this weapon is still god tier because in patch 10 it was also god tier, and losing that bit of a buff that never actually came to the live game really doesn't actually affect the placement all that much whatsoever. Now, the variant I've chosen today is the venting speed version because shooting this thing for longer is just way better than like having more ammunition, and to be honest, this weapon doesn't really care about ammunition anyways on TAC because Tactical has the Emperor's Vengeance perk, which pretty much gives us infinite ammo anyways, so really no need to actually take the other version here. And for the perk tree, I do take the perk Improved Fast Venting first, moving here to the perk Eternal Flame. Burning time increases by 25%. Burn damage is by far the most important damage type of the two of this weapon. Direct damage does not matter remotely as much as this does, so definitely pick this up. Next perk here is Potent Flame for a burning damage increase of 15%. Moving here into the perk Flame of Ascension. Burning 5 enemies restores 1 armor segment. Cooldown is 30 seconds. Being able to get an armor segment back after burning 5 enemies is super useful in this game, and burning 5 enemies is way easier than killing 5 enemies, so a perk like Trick Shot is already pretty powerful, which is just kill 5 enemies for 1 armor. This one's just like a strictly better version of that in my opinion, and you're basically able to trigger this off of cooldown in any single horde whatsoever, so great perk for sure. Next perk here is Potent Flame. Burning damage increases by 15%. Moving down here to the perk Flash Burn. Enemies at a distance of less than 10 meters take 20% more damage. This perk doesn't matter too much. We do have to pick this one up to the next two perks here, which are Increased Capacity and the final perk, Flame of Purification. Burning enemies take 20% more melee damage. This perk is incredible. You'll be benefiting your teams, benefiting yourself. Half the time, a sword warrior will light on fire, they'll like rush you with a melee attack. You will pull out your blockchain sword and just body them. So really good to have that 20% melee damage buff. And to be honest, it's like one of the reasons the Pyreblaster is so damn strong over the Pyre Cannon is because of a perk like this. And now you could go up for the top perk here, Pure Flame instead, but to be honest, I just take this one because I think this one is like overall better. Now, for the secondary here, I do take a Rate of Fire Plasma Pistol. This is still one of the best secondary weapons in the game as well. The Rate of Fire has amazing CHP recovery, amazing stagger, amazing damage, and the only thing holding this thing back is, of course, ammo economy, which is why we pick up all ammo perks here, and pick up the perk Divine Might for that 10% extra damage. I really do think this is like the best setup for like any plasma pistol in the game because the bottom tree is just super ammo hungry, and this weapon's already pretty ammo hungry in general, even on like the magazine capacity version. But you know, if you want to take these other ones, you definitely could, but I just think like this one is by far the best option currently. Now for the melee weapon selection, I did take a blockchain sword. Now this weapon and the heroic power gladius are the two best weapons for tactical in the melee slot in my opinion, and the blockchain sword is really good for defense because you get a 60% range damage reduction on a perfect block for all block weapons in this game. You will also get armor back off of 2 adrenaline surge charges being triggered and a huge increase in melee damage. So really good synergy here with our perks like the Flame of Purification here for 20% more melee damage, on top of the fact that having that armor on tactical will save your life because extra armor in Space Marine 2 is super valuable because any amount of armor remaining will reduce an incoming melee hit from a boss to 0, even if you have just like, you know, a Karn effect slapping you in the face. So a really good option for that. And for the perk tree, I do pick up Perpetual Strength first for melee damage increase of 5%. Moving here into the perk Swift Recovery, heavy attacks restore 100% more contested health. Applies to the following attacks: Quick Punch, Front Kick, Shoulder Bash, Stomp. You know, having your heavy attacks give you back double contested HP is really damn good in this game. This is like the main selling point of the chain sword in my opinion. Heavy attacks are like the best part of this weapon regardless, so getting double HP off of those, you know, 100% more contested health off of these is really good for us, so I do pick this up pretty much all the time. Next perk here is Perpetual Strength, up into Perpetual Strength for a 10% melee damage increase. Then I move over here into the perk Reverberating Impact. Stomp area effect radius increases by 50%. Now, unlike the heroic chain sword, you don't use your stomp that much on this weapon, but the perk down here, Saw Blade, that gets your light combo from 4 to 5 strikes is like not useful at all in my opinion on a speed 3 weapon, so I do pick this one up instead because occasionally you will stomp, and having that extra AoE is pretty nice. Next perk here is Combined Onslaught for more light combo damage. Then we move down here to Heavy Onslaught for more heavy attack damage. And then we pick up the perk Full Throttle, which is a charge attack. But the main reason we pick this up is for the combo skip. I'll put a link to that video in the info card up here if you don't know how to do the combo skip on this weapon. But being able to combo skip with the Chainsword is just really good for getting more DPS out, and also just helping you get back your CHP. So a great perk. Pretty much always grab this one as well. And the final two are Minora's Slayer and Extremis Slayer for that bit of extra damage into Extremis and Minora's. So this one being the most important in my opinion, because Extremis, these are the ones you usually want to kill. And that's pretty much all there is for the melee weapon selection. So perk tree here in the first column, I do take Plasma Boost first. When plasma weapons are 30% overheated, their damage increases by 40% and their charge shots use one less energy. This perk is the best one in this column in my opinion. Balance distribution doesn't do anything for us in this build. Direct damage on our Pyreblaster does not matter hardly at all compared to the burn damage. Crack and penetrator rounds does literally nothing for us. We're taking like a bolt pistol or something, and this one boosts up the damage of our plasma pistol, and the rate of fire plasma pistol with this perk is actually a pretty hefty DPS machine, so definitely the best option as far as I'm concerned. And the next perk here is, of course, Heightened Vigor. After a perfect time parry, block, or dodge, you deal 10% more melee and gun strike damage, while lose control from heavy hits and can't be knocked back for 10 seconds. Now, no knockback perks in Space Marine 2. They are top tier for pretty much like every class they're on, and this one is like the best of the bunch because you get a 10% melee and gun strike damage buff on top of that. And the way that no knockback works in this game, it's kind of like a misnomer for the description here. It doesn't just like make you straight up immune to heavy hits, but what it will do is that you will not be knocked over by a hit that would normally knock you over entirely, like a Carnifex slap, and a hit that would normally stagger you will do nothing. So like takes them down a tier, so pretty good for that. And being stun locked in Space Marine 2 is like the #1 way to die, so definitely pick this one up. Next perk here is Emperor's Vengeance to give us infinite ammo. Definitely pick this one up as well, because without this, you will run out way more, and these other two don't really do anything for you on a Pyreblaster anyways. Next perk here is Secure Stockpile. Equipment charge restored by 1 for all squad members. Cooldown is 60 seconds. This perk is one of the best team perks in the entire game, if not the single best team perk, because 60-second melt-a-bombs, crack grenades, shock grenades, and frags are insanely powerful. A melt-a-bomb will like solve a encounter for you entirely on its own, and really this perk not being nerfed by this point is kind of shocking to me, but hey, it is exactly the same as it's always been since it got changed, and it's still a top tier perk in the entire game. Definitely grab this if you want an easy time. Next perk here is Vital Data. Scanning Extremis or Terminus level enemy, it restores the Auspex scan charge by 50%. This just gives you more Auspexes versus the enemies you want them against, which are Extremis and Terminus level enemies. So I think this one is the most valuable in this column here, because equipment damage, this doesn't matter too much, and this one makes you give up Minora's enemies, make your mark here last a bit longer. But to be honest, we don't really need this on this build, so I do pick this one up instead. Next perk here is Battle Focus. A perfect time parry or block. It gives the parried enemy a mark from Auspex scan. You know, being able to have a free mark really helps out the blockchain sword reach some breakpoints pretty easily. Though I will say, if you are in a coordinated group, you could take Precise Calibration and Concentrate Fire together. This will up your Auspex damage by 195%. And that is tremendous. If you're in a coordinated squad, you will nuke a boss with this combo. So definitely keep that in mind. But for this build, I am taking this perk for now. Next perk here is Concentrate Fire. Auspex scan zone lasts 60% longer, and enemies marked by Auspex scan take an additional 120% damage, but they lose a mark when they leave the scanned area. This one just makes your Auspex way more valuable straight up. 60% longer on top of 120% bonus damage. It pretty much makes the Auspex, in my opinion. Without this perk, your Auspex feels really shitty, so I would definitely pick this one up. 60% longer zone, despite having them being able to leave the zone, really doesn't matter too much, because most of the enemies you want to Auspex anyways will like be 2 feet in your face or enormous, so this one's really not too hard to pull off regardless. Final perk here is Radiating Impact. A melee finisher additionally deals significant area effect damage in a 10-meter radius. The cooldown is 90 seconds. Now, this perk overperforms all the damn time. Having a 90-second nuke around you in a 10-meter radius is insane. It will wipe out Majoris, wipe out Extremis, do significant damage to bosses. By far the best signature perk in this row. Signal Jammer sucks ass. This perk marked for death has been power crept for ages, so definitely grab this one. Radiating Impact is just the best here by far, and really you can't go wrong. And even though a 90-second cooldown may sound horrible or like way too long, this one pretty much every time it's off cooldown would do something pretty valuable, so great perk. Now for my prestige perk selection, I do take skill supplier first. Ammo reserve increases by 15%. Moving here into spare power, collecting the ammo box for ability charge by 25%. This one is not super useful outside of siege mode. Like occasionally you will find ammo boxes. If you do want to take something like exigency charge or even second look, I guess you could. But to be honest, all the other options here are really not that great anyways. So the next perk I take instead is resilience, medicate since for 40% more health. And the final perk is fortitude for a health increase of 15%. Because this is like the only tank perk the tactical has anyways, so definitely grab this one. Without this, you will get cooked sometimes, so having a 15% HP increase, pretty much mandatory for the tactical, like a quote-unquote meta build in my opinion. And that's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. I do think this is probably the strongest tactical build overall in the game, at least for things like operations, maybe not siege mode because grenade launcher can go way higher with things like spare power and just ammo box spamming, but like hard stratagems, operations, Pyreblaster overperforms versus both chaos and tyranids, and hopefully this build guide helped. Hey guys, first regardsman here, and I'll be talking about a plasma incinerator build for the tactical class in patch 11.0 Space Marine 2. Now, plasma tactical is one of the most classic builds for this class. The Plasma Incinerator is a pretty powerful weapon. I do think the rate of fire variant is by far the best because getting out your charge shots is just like the most important part of this weapon. Not being able to shoot them quickly will lower your overall CHP recovery, your DPS, your ability to stagger, so having the rate of fire on both the primary here and your secondary on the plasma pistol is a pretty good option in my opinion. And for the perk tree, you obviously pick up Plasma Boost, which gives you a 40% damage increase on top of giving you better ammo economy on your charge shots, and that's why Plasma is kind of like a popular option of this class ever since they buffed up this perk. Now, as far as the perk tree on this weapon goes, you do have a couple options here. You could go down for like the blast radius like I did here first. Damage radius of a charge shot increases by 10%. The damage radius of the Plasma Incinerator shot, that's like the main reason to use this weapon over the rate of fire pistol exclusively, because this one does have a very high DPS because the charge rate of this thing is kind of stupid, but this one does have a better radius on those charge shots. Really nice for that. Now the next perk here is Rampage. After killing 7 enemies in rapid succession, you deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. Cooldown is 15 seconds. And now because of that extra blast radius, triggering this perk is actually pretty easy, but definitely more so versus Tyranids and Chaos because Zangors just have like way more HP and shields often than the Tyranids do, obviously. And Cultist will die in one shot, but they don't always clump up enough for the blast radius here, so let's keep that in mind. Next perk here is Efficient Charge. Charge shots from this plasma weapon use 2 less energy. This just helps out your overall ammo economy. Moving up here into the perk Fast Venting. Then I pick up the perk Plasma Collection. Now you could skip over this perk if you want to and just take Charge Speed for projectile shot instead. This is usually what most people would build down. It's just going down here. I want to try something a little different today for ammo economy in general, but you know, usually I think the best option is going to charge speed, picking up blast radius again. Then you can move up here into common speed, pick up adamant restoration if you really want ammo economy. Then build here into retaliation for 25% more damage, 25% more damage on a perfect time dodge. Then pick up fast venting. Grab the perk here, Home Precision, because this one says equip weapons maximum spread, it decreases by 50% when firing without aiming. You know, the Plasma Incinerator has a pretty shit aim down sights ability. I find it is way better in the hip fire when you take this perk than it would be otherwise, so I do like to pick this one up. And overall, I think this perk is actually very underrated, so I would definitely try this one out if you haven't done it before. Next perk here is Perpetual Velocity for shots charging 15% faster, and the final perk you can grab is either the perk over here, Efficient Charge, for even better ammo economy, or you could grab like Great Might for 10% bonus damage against Terminus. You know, that is up to you though. I did grab this one today because I just want to have a better ammo efficiency, but to be honest, they're both pretty good. That's pretty much all there is for the primary here. Now for the secondary, the rate of fire plasma pistol has been top tier since like patch 9 when they buffed up the charge rate of this thing. The charge rate of the plasma pistol is kind of insane in this game at the moment, and I'm surprised it hasn't been nerfed, to be honest. But for the perk tree, I would pick up all the way down the top row for all of your ammo economy and damage perks, because this weapon's ammo economy sucks ass even on the tactical, where we have a 15% increased ammo reserve for this and our primary. But either way, it does do a tremendous amount of damage. The CHP recovery is top tier. The stagger is incredible. It's actually better for staggering than your primary is because of that charge rate, and also the CHP recovery is better because getting your charge shots off faster just means you'll be able to get all that HP back significantly more easily, so really good for that. And also, honestly, you know, just pick this one up because you are using Plasma Boost and affects both your primary and secondary. Now, for the melee weapon, I do take a blockchain sword. I know daring today, aren't we? But we pretty much build it the same as always. The blockchain sword is an incredibly powerful weapon in Space Marine 2. The range damage reduction and armor restore really help out a ton of the tactical class because tactical is very squishy, so having any type of damage reduction is very nice. And if you're unaware, on a perfect block with a block weapon, you will get like a 60% range damage reduction for 2 seconds. It's like a hidden effect that the game doesn't tell you anywhere, so really nice to have and definitely helps you out a ton. Now for the perk tree, I just go down here, Perpetual Strength, into the perk Swift Recovery. Heavy attacks restore 100% more contested health, applies to the following attacks: Quick Punch, Front Kick, Shoulder Bash, Stomp. This one's like the best perk in the whole Chainsword tree in my opinion. Getting back more CHP is like the selling point of this weapon, besides the overall AoE capabilities it has with stuff like Stomp and Bash, but Swift Recovery is a very good perk, has been since the game came out. Next perk here is Perpetual Strength, moving up here into the same perk once again for a 10% melee damage increase. Then I grab the perk here, Reverberating Impact, for a Stomp area effect radius increase of 50%. Move here into Combined Onslaught, Heavy Onslaught for more heavy attack damage, and then pick up Full Throttle for the combo skip. And the final 2 perks I grab are Minoru Slayer and Extremis Slayer. That's pretty much all there is for the melee tree. Now for the tactical perk tree, I do take Plasma Boost first. When plasma weapons are 30% overheated, their damage increases by 40%, and their charge shots use 1 less energy. This ups the value of your plasma weapons incredibly. Honestly, you could take this perk with just a secondary option and you would still be getting a ton of value out of it. The rate of fire plasma really is that strong with this perk, and this on top of your plasma incinerator is kind of a no-brainer for this build. Next perk here is Heightened Vigor. After a perfect time parry, block, or dodge, you deal 10% more melee and gun strike damage, don't lose control from heavy hits, and can't be knocked back for 10 seconds. This perk just saves your life at times. No knockback in Space Marine 2 is incredible, and this one gives you bonus damage on top of that. Now, no knockback perks in this game are kind of a lie in their description. All they will do is take your knockback down like a tier. So a hit that would knock you over entirely will only stagger you, and a hit that would stagger you will do nothing. So still very useful, just like not quite what the description would say. Now, if you want to take the perk here, Relentless Pursuit, after a gun strike, range damage increases by 25% for 10 seconds. This one did get buffed this patch. It is significantly better, and versatility is also pretty good with the secondary option we have. But to be honest, Heightened Vigor is just way better in my opinion, so I would pick this one up instead. The next perk here is Emperor's Vengeance. Killing a Majoris level or higher enemy restores your primary weapon's ammo by 1 magazine, cannot exceed maximum ammo capacity. Cooldown is 30 seconds. This one just gives you infinite ammo pretty much on your primary, so kind of a no-brainer. Next perk here, Secure Stockpile. Equipment charge restored by 1 for all of your squad members. Cooldown is 60 seconds. Now guys, a 60-second Melt-A-Bomb, Shock Grenade, Crack Grenade, Frag. These are top-tier options in the game already, and getting them back off a 60-second cooldown for your entire team is absolutely fucking insane, to be honest. Aligned Aim is a really good perk too. This one is just absurdly good, so this is by far the best option in my opinion. Next perk here is Vital Data to give us back more Auspexes versus Extremis and Turbinus, which ones we want them against anyways. And the final 2 perks here in the Euro tree are Precise Calibration and Concentrated Fire, because these 2 perks combined up your Auspex damage by like 195% on top of making it last 60% longer in the zone. Though you do have to keep in mind, you have to actually keep the Auspex on the enemy while they're in the zone, because if they leave the zone, they'll lose the effect entirely. But still worth taking, because if you have a coordinated team, you will just blow up a boss in like 2 seconds with this perk combo here. Really, really incredible option. Final perk here is Radiating Impact. A melee finisher additionally deals significant area effect damage in a 10-meter radius, and the cooldown is 90 seconds. This perk overperforms all the time. It does significant damage to bosses, Extremis, almost one-shots Majoris half the time, will wipe out Minoru Swarms. A 90-second cooldown, this thing may seem like an eternity, but pretty much every time it is off cooldown, it does something amazing for you, and Signal Jammer still sucks, and Marked for Death got power crept, so definitely the best option here. Now, for the prestige perks, I do take Skill Supplier first, and reserve increases by 15%. Moving down here into Spare Power, because Acuity does nothing for us on this build. I know it says it like here in the actual prestige perk tree, but for this build, I would take this perk, Spare Power, for the extra charge off your ammo boxes, because this is definitely better in siege mode, but even in the missions, you will find ammo boxes, and sometimes this will help you, and to be honest, the other options aren't very good anyways. And the final 2 perks I grab are Resilience for more HP on Medicae stims, and Fortitude for a health increase of 15%, because this class has basically no tank perks anyways, so pretty much always grab this one, because health increases in Space Marine 2 will save your life. And that's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. The Plasma Incinerator is a pretty good gun in this game. I do think it's been power crept a little bit by options like the Bolt Carbine or even the Ranged Melta, and especially the Pyreblaster at times, but it's still pretty damn strong. Really good at catching out Zangors that are flying around on the skies. And overall, it's a pretty fun weapon to use. And hopefully this build guide helped you. And if you like content like this, subscribe for more. And as always, take it easy. Thanks for watching. Bye. Hey guys, FTG here, and so I'll be talking about a Malum Kato Bolt Carbine build, fully tactical class, in patch 11.2 Space Marine 2. Now, the Bolt Carbine has incredible close range damage on the automatic variant, on top of great CHP recovery. This thing is good on operations for both Chaos and Tyranids, and the biggest thing about this weapon is that despite only having 2 accuracy on the ammo reserve option, you can still pick up the perk here, Home Precision, for a 50% reduced weapon spread while firing without aiming, which will basically turn your gun into a laser beam. So really good option here. This perk is incredible, and that really allows us to just take the full ammo option and just get a fat stack of ammunition for our gun. So first up, I take Headhunter, moving here into the perk Rapid Health. Then we pick up the Fabled Home Precision, moving here into the perk Divine Might. Then I pick up Headhunter and Headhunter once again, moving down here to pick up Extended Magazine into Divine Might for even more damage. Let's go all the way down the line here for increased capacity. Our big perk here, Magazine Restoration, which is okay on us because we really don't need this that much. I'm mainly going down this line here to pick up Divine Might because when we pick up Emperor's Vengeance on this class, you'll pretty much never run out of ammo anyways, it's not really a big issue. Though, if you want to pick up perks like Emperor's Judgment or even Steady Aim, you can do that on a Bolt Carbine because you are pretty ammo efficient, though I will say I wouldn't do that by yourself. I would do that with your teammates. Just keep that in mind. So Magazine Restoration can come in handy there, but for a general Emperor's Vengeance build, it's not super useful. But still have to pick it up to go pick up this perk. Now, that's pretty much all there is for the Bolt Carbine. For the secondary option, I did take a Firepower Standard Bolt Pistol this time. The Bolt Pistol is a pretty good option now. Now, they did nerf it a bit from where it was in the PTS. It's not like an equivalent gun strike with the Heavy Bolt Pistol anymore, but it's still pretty strong, and the headshot damage is much better. The base damage increase really helped out your CHP recovery, and you still have access to perks here like Elite Hunter that give you 50% more headshot damage after a melee kill on a Major's Level or higher enemy, so really good option on this weapon. This is just the way I set this one up. Now, there are a couple ways you can set up the Bolt Pistol. I went down here for Retaliation. After Perfect Time Dodge, you deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This perk will up your damage quite a bit and give you the highest overall damage on the Bolt Pistol of any setup if you build it this way, though I will say your base damage without triggering this is higher if you pick up the perk Headhunter first instead. Just go down the top line, that is up to you. That's pretty much all there is for the secondary. Now, for the melee weapon, I did take a Block Chainsword once again. Now, the Block Chainsword is one of the best weapons in this game, especially for tactical. Having armor regen and range damage reduction is really good in Space Marine 2. And for the perk tree, we set it up as always, picking up Perpetual Strength and Swift Recovery here for 100% more CHP restore on the following attacks: Quick Punch, Front Kick, Shoulder Bash, and Stomp. Then we pick up the perk here, Perpetual Strength, and Perpetual Strength once again, moving here into the perk of Reverberating Impact for a greater Stomp AoE. This is pretty damn good, and the perk down here that gives us a 5-strike light combo here instead of 4 is kind of garbage on every version of the weapon, especially a 3-speed one, so I purpose never pick this up anyways. Next perk here is Combined Onslaught, moving here to the perk Heavy Onslaught for more heavy attack damage. Then I pick up Full Throttle for the combo skip, and then we grab the perk Minoris Slayer and finish off with Extremis Slayer. That's pretty much all there is for the melee weapon here. Now, for the perk tree, I do start off with the perk of Balanced Distribution. Your primary weapon deals 10% more damage, but your secondary weapon deals 10% less damage. This is just to max out our Bolt Carbine damage. Picking up this perk on top of Aligned Aim is really fun in Space Marine 2. You will do a ton of damage on bolt weapons, and really any ranged weapon in the game. Obviously, Secure Stockpile is better, but Aligned Aim is a fun perk to use, so that's why I grabbed these two. Next perk here is Heightened Vigor. After perk time Parry, Block, or Dodge, you will deal 10% more melee and gun strike damage. You won't lose control from heavy hits, and you can't be knocked back for 10 seconds. This perk just gives you no knockback, which is amazing in Space Marine 2 anyways, and 10% more melee and gun strike damage is a godly option on top of that, so I pretty much always grab this one. Next perk here is Emperor's Vengeance. This just gives you infinite ammo as long as you keep killing Majors every 30 seconds, which of course you will be doing, so pretty much always grab this if you never want to run out of ammo. But like I said before, you can grab Steady Aim and Emperor's Judgment if you want to, because these are still pretty good. That is up to you. Next perk here is Aligned Aim, like I mentioned before, and then I pick up the perk here of Vital Data. Getting Extremis or Terminus level enemy restores your Auspex scan charged by 50%. This will combo with Battle Focus occasionally, so like you'll put down your Auspex on a boss or something, and you'll like parry another Extremis and get your like a full Auspex back. That is pretty good. It doesn't happen all the time. I'm not really sure like what 100% what the prerequisite for that is. It feels kind of like it's a bug at times, to be honest, but it is like a little bit of a benefit that will happen occasionally. Now, next perk here is Battle Focus, a perfect time parry, block, or dodge. It gives you parried enemy mark from Auspex scan. This is just a nice DPS increase here because having this Auspex constantly go off is pretty useful, though I will say precise calibration down here for a 75% damage buff on top of the 120% damage buff from concentrated fire is better for like overall boss damage for a team setup if like you're actually coordinated, so keep that in mind. Next perk here is, of course, Concentrated Fire. Your Auspex scan zone lasts 6% longer. Enemies marked by the Auspex scan take an additional 120% damage, but they lose a mark when they leave the scanned area. This just makes your Auspex way better. I honestly hate the Auspex scan without this perk, even though you do have to like make sure you set it up properly. This isn't that hard to do at all, and making sure you get that 120% buff is really nice, so I pretty much always grab this one as well. And the final perk I grab here in the signature tree is Radiating Impact. A melee finisher additionally deals significant area effect damage in a 10-meter radius, and the cooldown is a 90 seconds. This perk overperforms all the time. You will wipe out Majoras, you will wipe out even Extremis, you will do free boss damage. It is an incredible option, far better than perks like Signal Jammer and Marked for Death, and you pretty much always grab this one on the tactical because it saves your life. This is like one of the best horde clear options on him, period, so really good perk. And for the prestige perks, I take Acuity first. Each consecutive headshot increases headshot damage by 3% up to 15%. The bonus lasts 5 seconds without a headshot. Well, you are shooting a fully automatic weapon, so keeping this up is very easy. And to be honest, keeping this up on any bolt weapon in the game is very easy, and you pretty much always want to grab it on anything that requires headshots, because free headshot damage is really nice to have. Next perk here is Skill Supplier, and Reserve increases by 15%. We really don't need ammunition on this build that much, but this perk will affect your secondary, and that is really nice for things like the plasma pistols. If you want to take that, you definitely can. And next perk here is Resilience. Moving here to the perk Fortitude for health increase of 15%. Pretty much always grab this perk because without Fortitude, you will just explode at times, because a 15% health increase will save your life in Space Marine 2, and that's pretty much all there is for the tactical build here, guys. You know, after they added in this new helmet with the accolade selection, you know, role-playing as Malem Kato is a lot easier than it's ever been, and hopefully this build guide helped you, and if you like content like this, subscribe for more, and as always, take it easy. Here's some gameplay. Bye. Hey guys, first Regardsman here, and I'll be talking about a Stalker Bolt Rifle build for the tactical class in patch 11.2 of Space Marine 2. Now, the Stalker Bolt Rifle is a very popular weapon in this game, mainly because this weapon does tremendous headshot damage and will positively delete Neurothropes and Zoanthropes, and Neurothropes are some of the most annoying boss fights in this game, so really nice to have for that, and really fun to use on top of that fact. Now, for the variant I've chosen today, I have picked up the Firepower version. This one has the highest per headshot damage in the entire game of all the options here, and the headshot multiplier is times 2.3. Now, rate of fire can be a bit more DPS if you hit like every single headshot on like a single target, but to be honest, I just prefer per headshot damage at times just because this saves you some ammo, and it's also just better for like pot shots and stuff like that. Now, for the perk tree on this, I do go down the top row because the top row just has all the damage perks, and really on the tactical class, you don't have to worry about ammo that much at all, especially in a team, because we have perks here like Emperor's Vengeance, so I just go down this top row for that reason. Now, the first perk we have here is Unwavering Resolve. After reloading while having low ammo, damage increases by 25% for 5 seconds. Moving here into the perk Adamant Hunter. When your health is below 30%, headshots will deal 25% more damage. When you have this perk active, your headshot damage on this weapon is tremendous. It is ridiculous how much you can actually do with like a precise calibration Auspex active on a boss. I'll show a little clip of that right now just to give you an idea, but Adamant Hunter is a ridiculously potent perk, but I will say being below 30% HP on a tactical is pretty dangerous because tactical is quite squishy. Next perk here is Headhunter. Moving here into the perk Cleaving Fire. Shots will penetrate enemy block stances, dealing 25% of the usual damage. This perk kind of sucks. Like 25% of your damage is not very good, but like very rarely you will be able to like pick up a kill on a Biovore or Sword Warrior with this. Next perk here is Headhunter once again. Moving here into the perk Agile Hunter. After a perfect time dodge, headshots will deal 35% more damage for 10 seconds. And the final 3 perks we grab are the perk here Fast Reload, down to the perk Great Might for 10% bonus damage against Terminus, and the final perk is Recoupment. Killing a Major's level or higher enemy with a headshot, this weapon restores one armor segment. Cooldown is 15 seconds. Now, this weapon is a long-range weapon for the most part, or like medium range, so having an armor restore off of that when you're fighting things like Devourers is pretty nice, because usually in Space Marine 2, the way you lose HP on a ranged build like this is that an enemy will chip damage you while you're shooting back at them, and getting this armor back in the middle of that fight is very good for that reason. That's pretty much all there is for the setup on this weapon. Now for the secondary weapon here, I did take a Retribution's Bequest Heroic Heavy Bolt Pistol. It has the highest gun strike damage of any weapon in the game currently, and the heroic perk effect here is called No Help is Coming. Shooting an enemy with the Elite Scream status stops it from calling for reinforcements, and headshots will kill in one shot. Now, unfortunately, this perk is currently bugged. Body shots do nothing to stop reinforcement calls, but headshots will still kill in one shot, which is still very powerful. It's just kind of funny they broke this perk once again, but you know, what are you going to do? Now, as far as the perk tree goes for this, I will go down the bottom perk tree first for Divine Might, down here into Perpetual Penetration, into Increased Capacity, Extended Magazine. Then we grab the perk here, Death Strike. After killing a majority silver or higher enemy in melee combat, you will deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. You can trigger this perk off a finisher, not just like an actual melee kill, so keep that in mind. Actually a lot better than it might seem initially. And the next perk here is Great Might. Then I move up here into Discipline. When you have low ammo, you deal 25% more damage. Then I pick up the perk Strong Finish and move all the way down the row into the perk Tactical Precision. Headshots will deal 20% more damage, and non-headshot damage decreases by 10%. This perk is pretty much mandatory on every bolt weapon in my opinion. Headshots just matter way too much in Space Marine 2, and non-headshot damage hardly matters at all. The only place I'm hesitant to take this perk is on something like the Grenade Launcher or the Combi Melta, because it will reduce the Grenade Launcher damage and the Melta Rifle portion respectively, but on a weapon like this, pretty much always pick it up. Now, I do skip over the bottom row here because the perk Able Damage is very powerful. It just doesn't work too well on Tactical, because Tactical does not use its class ability as much as, say, like Assault, Vanguard, or the Heavy. So that's why we build it up this way. That's pretty much all I have to say about the secondary here. Now, the melee weapon I chose for this build is the Power Gladius Heroic Combat Knife. This is a balanced parry window defense, which does kind of suck, but the strength is 14, the speed is 7+, and the cleaving potential is 2, and the heroic perk effect here is called Agile Strike. After a perfect dodge, the next melee attack deals 120% more damage and can be stacked up to 3 times. Now, as of patch 11.0 plus, they actually buffed this up to have a hidden perk effect, where now the damage bonus will last 1 second after the initial attack, so way better than it sounds. This weapon can actually one-shot bosses with the proper setup. Really powerful option, and honestly my preferred combat knife in the entire game currently. And for the perk tree, I do set up this way, going down Perpetual Strength first, moving here to the perk Kinetic Energy. Each consecutive heavy attack increases heavy attack melee damage by 3% up to 30% for 3 seconds. So then I move here to the perk Perpetual Strength, and Perpetual Strength once again for a flat melee damage increase of 10%. Then I pick up the perk here, Heavy Onslaught. Heavy attacks with this weapon deal 15% more melee damage. This perk will affect Shadow Stab as well, not just like your Kinetic Energy, right, Skull Crushers and stuff like that, so keep that in mind. And then I move here into the perk Reeling Blow, up here into the perk Tide of Battle, and then I grab, of course, Shadow Stab. Replace Heavy Swing with Shadow Stab, hold the attack button to charge it, damage increases by 200% per 1 second of charging. This perk is incredible. You pretty much always grab this on a knife. The biggest selling point of the knife in general is the single target damage, and this one just does that in droves, so definitely grab it. This is your boss nuker, your Neurothorpe nuker when they're on the ground, stuff like that if you didn't have a Stalker bolt rifle, and overall, this is why you grab a combat knife. And the final perk I grab is the Terminus Slayer. Melee damage against Terminus level enemies increases by 20%. Now you could pick up Extremis Slayer if you want. These are both good perks. I'm just going for boss nuking at times, like versus a Carnifex, this perk is very strong. Versus a Neurothrope, we really don't need this too much at all because we do have a Stalker bolt rifle, but you know, in general, I just like to build it this way, so that's what I did today. And that's pretty much all there is for the melee weapon here. Now for the perk tree here, we do go all in on the range damage. So first up, I take Balance Distribution. Your primary weapon deals 10% more damage, but your secondary weapon deals 10% less damage. Now, losing 10% damage on your secondary does kind of suck, but having aligned aim will make up for this later anyways, so not too bad for us. And the 10% bonus damage to our primary is pretty damn nice for a Stalker bolt rifle. Next perk here is Relentless Pursuit. After a gun strike, range damage will increase by 25% for 10 seconds. Now, a 25% damage buff to your range attacks is substantial, and recently they buffed up this perk to last from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. A 10-second uptime on this feels way better. It is a far superior perk than it used to be. It's much closer to the exacting focus of the sniper previously, because for a very long time, this perk here is just like a straight-up better version of the Relentless Pursuit perks that lasted twice as long despite losing 5% damage, but that Relentless Pursuit is way better than that one even because it has a 25% damage buff, and overall, getting gun strikes in Space Marine 2 is very easy, and a 25% range damage bonus is intense. And I also want to say, though, that it is a little unsafe to use this at times because losing out on heightened vigors, no knockback, can definitely get you killed, but I just picked this one up for that full range damage experience. Next perk here is Emperor's Vengeance. This perk just solves your ammo economy problems entirely. You don't need any ammo perks on your actual gun as long as you pick this up, and the other options here are not bad, like Steady Aim and Emperor's Judgment. They do give you pretty substantial bonuses, it's just that this one is by far the best, so I do pick this one up for this build. Next perk here is Aligned Aim. Range damage increases by 15% for all of your team members. This one is a great perk. Unfortunately, the only reason people don't take this is because the perk up here, Secure Stockpile, is ridiculously powerful, but I just prefer this one for this build because having flat out range damage, it just feels pretty nice. It just makes the weapons themselves feel better, and this one may be better, but this one is more fun to use, at least for me. Next perk here is Vital Data. Scanning extremist or terminus level enemy restores your Auspex scan charged by 50%. This perk is incredible. It gives you more Auspexes versus the enemies you want them against, which are extremists and terminus, so I pretty much always pick this up. Then I move into the fabled combo of Precise Calibration plus Concentrated Fire. Now, these two perks are the premier boss killing combo in Space Marine 2. This one says enemies marked by Auspex scan take an additional 75% damage, but the Auspex scan's radius is reduced by 25%. And Concentrated Fire says Auspex scan zone lasts 60% longer, and enemies marked by Auspex scan take an additional 120% damage, but they lose the mark when they leave the scanned area. Now, put together, this is a 195% damage bonus for 60% longer. That is intense. This will blow up a boss if you are coordinated, and to be honest, by yourself with a Stalker bolt rifle, if you put this on like a Neurothrope, you'll just remove them from the game. So really good perk combo. I prefer this over Battle Focus at this point because previously Battle Focus used to apply perks like this to the actual scan from the parry. It no longer does that, so having Precise Calibration, I just like this one more. You know, it is up to you. Next perk here is Radiating Impact. A melee finisher additionally deals significant area effect damage in a 10-meter radius. Cooldown is 90 seconds. Now, having this massive AoE is incredible. You will just nuke anyone in your vicinity. It overperforms all the time. It will one-shot Majoras, do significant damage to extremists and even bosses. Pretty much always pick this up because Signal Jammer is garbage, and Marked for Death is kind of in power crept, so definitely pick this one up. Now, for the Prestige perk selection, I do take the Acuity perk first. Each consecutive headshot increases headshot damage by 3% up to 15%, and the bonus lasts 5 seconds without a headshot. You pretty much pick this up for any bolt weapon in the game. Headshot damage is way too good to give up, and to be honest, the Prestige perk selection on Tactical is not that good anyways. This is by far one of the best options. Next perk here is Skill Supplier, and Reserve increases by 15%. This perk is pretty nice because it will affect not only your primary but also your secondary weapon, which is really a rarity in this game because even the additional supplies perk on heavy will only affect your primary, so pretty good for that, which is why I do like picking this one up. And also the next perk here will of course be Resilience. Medicae stims restore 40% more HP because having more valuable stims is just very powerful in Space Marine 2. And the final perk here is Fortitude. Health increases by 15% because this perk will simply save your life, and the Tactical is a very squishy class. This is like the only tank perk he has, so definitely grab this one. But that's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. With the proper Auspex on an enemy, you will one-shot a Zoanthrope, you will kill a Neurothrope in like 10 seconds flat. This weapon is not horrific versus Chaos either, but it's definitely better versus Tyrannus just because of how big their heads are, and for the most part, that's where I prefer to use this weapon in general. And hopefully this build guide helped you. I'll be talking about a heavy bolt rifle build for the Tactical class in patch 11.1 of Space Marine 2. Now, this recent hotfix actually fixed up the heavy bolt rifle scope variant. Before, in the original patch 11.0 update, this did not have the increased base damage of all the other versions. It was actually the lowest headshot damage in the entire game of all variants. They finally fixed that. Now it is only second to the firepower variant, which is kind of unfortunate. Like, I do feel like this should have a higher headshot damage than this version, but you know, what you're gonna do, it's still pretty good. And the main benefit of this weapon is the long range to medium range shooting, which is pretty damn strong at currently. Now, for the perk tree, I would pick up Headhunter first when you hear into the perk Adamant Hunter. When your health is below 30%, headshots deal 25% more damage. This perk is very powerful, though I will say being below 30% HP on a tactical class is super dangerous. You're like within one-shot territory while you have this perk active, which does kind of suck, but Adamant Hunter is still really powerful for the 25% buff. Next perk here is Fast Reload, moving here to the perk Able Reload. After using a class ability, the equipped weapon instantaneously reloads. This is definitely better on an Iron Halo for heavy because the tactical class, the Auspex, is just not super good for triggering this. You aren't using the Auspex that often, but like sometimes it does help you out. Next perk here is Headhunter, moving up here into the perk Tactical Precision. Headshots deal 20% more damage, non-headshot damage decreases by 10%. Just take this perk. Headshot damage is by far the most important thing in this game, especially for a headshot multiplier version of your weapon. That's why you pretty much pick this up on every bolt weapon in Space Marine 2. Perk down here is Great Might for 10% bonus damage against Terminus level enemies, and then I pick up the perk over here, Recoupment. Killing a Majora's level or higher enemy with a headshot with this weapon restores 1 armor segment. The cooldown is 15 seconds. Now, getting armor restore at range in this game, it may not sound that good, but a lot of the way you take damage in Space Marine 2 while shooting at enemies is by taking chip from like a medium to far range. This will basically eliminate that, which is really, really useful for us because when you're fighting Bramble Warriors and stuff like that, and you simply have to pick up a headshot on them, getting that extra armor to like sit in your Bramble for 2 seconds and not actually lose HP is really, really useful. Like, that's one of the reasons I really like this weapon. Next weapon perk here is Rapid Health. When your health is below 30%, killing 7 enemies in rapid succession restores your health by 10%. This is one of the only healing perks on the tactical class period, and it's actually very easy to trigger on the heavy bolt rifle, because the heavy bolt rifle just like absolutely pumps out bullets compared to other guns. Like, this is on the bolt rifle, but like the bolt rifle is just not as good at taking advantage of this outside like the grenade launcher and combi melta, because the fire rate of this one is just way better. Next perk here is Perpetual Penetration, moving here into the perk Divine Might, and the final perk I grab is Extended Magazine, because firing for longer is usually better. That's pretty much all there is for the weapon perk tree here. The heavy bolt rifle is a pretty decent gun right now. I wouldn't say it's like top tier by any means, like probably B or A at the absolute highest, but it's still pretty damn strong, and all the variants are pretty good right now. If you do want like an increased damage overall for your headshots, I would take the Firepower variant, but this one's definitely worse at long range, so just keep that in mind. Now, for the secondary here, I do take the brand new Heroic Heavy Bolt Pistol. Now, unfortunately, in this hotfix, they did actually fix up the hipfire accuracy. Is now not like horribly inaccurate on the hipfire, but unfortunately, they broke the perk here. No help is coming. Shooting enemy with the elite scream status stops from calling for reinforcements. Headshots kill in 1 shot. They made it so this one will no longer properly trigger on a body shot. The headshot kills will still kill in 1 shot, which is pretty good for us. Like, that's definitely a boon for your gameplay, but not being able to stop them on body shot, it does kind of suck. I don't know if it's just me that's been experiencing this, but the fact that this feels a little bit broken at the moment is just, you know, it's unfortunate. That's just the way it is. Now, for the rest of the weapon perks here, we do take Divine Might, moving here into the perk Death Strike. After killing Majora's level or higher enemy in melee combat, you will deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. This perk will also trigger off a finisher, not just a melee kill, so keep that in mind. And a 25% damage buff for 10 seconds, that is pretty damn good in this game, especially on this weapon, because this gun does hit pretty damn hard with a 12 firepower. Then I move up here into the perk Great Might, picking up Discipline. When you have low ammo, you deal 25% more damage. This perk is already pretty good on like the normal heavy bolt pistols, but on this one it's even better because our ammo reserves kind of suck ass. You only have like a 48 ammo reserve on this with a magazine capacity of 6, so you will run out all the time, but having this does boost up your damage at those low levels, so pretty good for that. Next perk here is Strong Finish. Last round of magazine deals 50% more damage. Moving here into the perk Headhunter, picking up the perk Gunstrike Reload, and the final perk here is, once again, Tactical Precision. Headshots deal 20% more damage, and non-headshot damage it decreases by 10%. This perk is, once again, incredible, so pretty much always pick this up regardless of whether or not you're going down for able damage or going up here for perks like Headhunter. That is up to you, but definitely take this perk. Now, for the melee weapon, I do take the Heroic Power Gladius. This weapon is incredible in this game right now. The heroic perk effect here is called Agile Strike. After a perfect dodge, the next melee attack deals 120% more damage and can be stacked up to 3 times. Now, in patch 11.0, they actually buffed up this weapon. You now have a 1 second lingering effect for the 120% damage increase, or like that 360% if you got all 3 perfect dodges. And that is pretty damn incredible. With an Auspex, you can pretty much one-shot a boss with this, so really good for that, and we do use that for boss damage all the time. And the way I set this perk tree up here today is using Perpetual Strength first, moving here into the perk Kinetic Energy. Each consecutive heavy attack increases heavy attack melee damage by 3% up to 30% for 3 seconds. You know, heavy attacks are pretty much all that matters on this weapon. We do have a 7+ speed for light attacks, but unfortunately in Space Marine 2, heavy attacks are just way better overall, so definitely pick this up. Next perk here is Perpetual Strength. We have here into the perk Perpetual Strength once again for another 5% damage increase. Then I grab the perk here, Heavy Onslaught, for even more heavy attack damage. Picking up the perk here, Reeling Blow, moving down to Shadow Stab for single target damage. This is like the best boss killing tool of this whole weapon. To be honest, this is like the only reason to use the knife in general is like to pick up Shadow Stab. This perk is like the main thing that separates this weapon from things like the Chain Sword, so definitely grab this one. And And moving up here into the perk Tide of Battle, and the final perk I grab here is Terminus Slayer. Melee damage against Terminus level enemies increases by 20%. Like I said before, I'm primarily taking this knife for boss damage because this thing is an absolute boss nuker, so definitely pick up this perk here if you want to have like maxed out boss damage, but you could pick up Extremis damage instead if you wanted. That is up to you. That's pretty much all there is for the melee weapon here. Now, for the perk tree, the fabled perk tree, we are taking the balanced distribution first. Your primary weapon deals 10% more damage, but your secondary weapon deals 10% less damage. Now you may think, wow, this sounds like shit. We are losing 10% damage on our secondary. Well, we also pick up aligned aim on this build, so we get 15% range damage increase on top of that. So the 10% decrease in our secondary here, that doesn't actually suck as much ass as you might think, and the 10% bonus is pretty nice, especially for the heavy bolt rifle. And the main point of this build, like most bolt weapon builds I make, is to like boost up our primary damage, which is what we're doing here. Next perk here is Heightened Vigor. After your perfect time parry, block, or dodge, you will deal 10% more melee and gun strike damage, and you won't lose control from heavy hits, and you can't be knocked back for 10 seconds. No knockback in Space Marine 2 will simply save your life, and getting a 10% melee and gun strike damage buff on top of that is top tier. Pretty much always pick this up, but I will say, the perk here, Relentless Pursuit, after a gun strike, range damage increases by 25% for 10 seconds. This did get buffed this patch as well. It used to be 5 seconds, which was god-awful, but 10 seconds feels way better, so if you want to use this, you definitely can. And on a balanced knife, you will get more gun strikes, so pretty good synergy there. Next perk here is Emperor's Vengeance. Killing a resource level or higher enemy with your swords, your primary weapons ammo by 1 magazine. Galaxy maximum ammo capacity. Cooldown is 30 seconds. This perk just gives you infinite ammo on executes. Really good to keep your ammo topped off. This one is not like the most ammo hungry weapon in the entire game, but it's definitely hungrier than, say, like, you know, a Stalker bolt rifle is and stuff like that. Wait, that's not true at all. It's definitely hungrier than like most weapons could be. Like things like the melter rifle you can kind of get away with because you have things like decisive reload, but this weapon will definitely want more ammunition for it, especially on the scope variant, so just keep that in mind. Now, next perk here is Aligned Aim. Range damage increases by 15% for all of your squad members. Moving here into the perk Vital Data. Scanning Extremis or Terminus level enemy restores your Auspex scans charge by 50%. This perk just gives you more Auspexes versus the enemies you actually want them against, which are Extremis and Terminus, are pretty good for that. And the perk combo I take here is Precise Calibration and Concentrated Fire. Now, these two perks together will just nuclear bomb bosses. Like, if you have a coordinated team with these two, you will just kill a boss so casually. It'd be absolutely fucking hilarious. The amount of bonus damage you get from this is like 195% on Auspex and a 60% longer lasting Auspex. Really, really good synergy here. One of the best reasons to take Tactical is this Auspex combo, so definitely pick these two up if you want to do that. Though I will say, if you want to skip over the 75% buff here and take Battle Focus for a parry buff, you can definitely do that as well. Next perk here is a Radiating Impact, a melee finisher, additionally deals significant area effect damage in a 10 meter radius. The cooldown is 90 seconds. This perk absolutely overperforms all the damn time. Basically, it will wipe out Majora's packs, wipe out Extremis packs, do significant damage to bosses, and even wipe out Majora's packs at times. Really, really good perk, and definitely better than Marked for Death and Signal Jammer. And that's pretty much all there is for the main perk tree. And for our prestige perks, I just take Acuity here for the headshot damage and Skill Supplier for the ammo reserve increase of 15%. Now, unlike additional supplies on the heavy class, this perk will actually increase your ammo capacity for your secondary as well, so you don't actually only get stuck with the 48 here. So like, if you take this on top of increased capacity here, you will get like 60 plus shots in your ammo reserves. It's actually pretty intense for this weapon. It does bring it up to like almost the ammo reserves of, say, a standard firepower variant, which is pretty good synergy there, and like one of the reasons this gun is better on tactical. And the final two perks I grab are Fortitude for the 15% health increase here, and Resilience for 40% more HP from stims. That's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. Now, the heavy bolt rifle, oh shit. Now, the heavy bolt rifle is way better than it was before. I wouldn't say it's like a top tier gun like I mentioned before. It is pretty good. Like, it's definitely best at medium to long range, but to be honest, if you're trying to go for like a maximum medium to long range attack speed, or like, you know, attack damage, I should say, I would just take the accuracy bolt rifle. I do think this one is overall better, and the Stalker bolt rifle is definitely better at long range, but you know, the buff definitely helped this one out, and it does feel way better than it was in patch 10. That's pretty much all I have to say about this one, guys. If you like content like this, subscribe for more. I know I was a little bit rambling in this one, but you know, hey, I tried my best, and that's all I had to say about that. And as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye. Where are we going?
Zoan Road, beware its mind fang.
Alright, I want to kill the zone throw up there first.
Enhanced visuals in.
Yep. Okay, we'll kill you. There we go.
Zone throat sidekick howls. Full sight.
Now I want this guy gone. Once you get rid of the ads, it's pretty easy. Alright, he wants to jump. There it is. Okay. Yeah.
Subterranean alien pest. Fresh magazine in. Changing magazine. Full specs prime. Scanning. Swapping magazine.
If I can not pull over. Alright, where do I actually want to go here? I want to go over here. I want to funnel them if I can.
Changing magazine. Another Xenos bioform eliminated. Alien trespasser sighted.
What's the benefit of the scope here?
All specs deep scan ready. Tyranid men.
Alright. Got a lot easier now.
You are fertilizer now, Xenos. Xenos bioform.
This is where recruitment comes in handy really well. Evening, which primary weapon is it, please? I'm new in the game. This is a heavy bolt rifle. Not to be confused with the heavy bolter. They are two different guns. What is your favorite faction to fight? I mean, definitely Tyranid is. Chaos is way better now that Chaos Spawn are in, but there's just not enough variety in the Extremis. Granted, Biovores are kind of shitty. Or I have to wait for them. But my
Specs ready to scan.
stupid ass bot really wants.
Pathetic Tyranid.
W murder of my bot.
Commencing all specs scan.
It'll be interesting to see how the Ravens and the Lion get along. I feel the Lion's pretty chill. Like, as far as Primarchs go, Lion is pretty chill.
Rearming.
I pray someday I'll get drip as good as this. It could be today, you never know. Why pray when you can make it a reality? Goddamn.
Xenos bioform.
See, the dangerous part about, like, long-range combat in this game is chip damage. Which is why recruitment's such a good perk. Alright, no ammo over here, but that's okay, because we are not really hurting too much.
Detecting my static mine. Reinforced. Alien trespasser sighted.
You don't have any of the cosmetic packs? I mean, I think some of these are free.
Reinforcement
Most of them.
eliminated.
Actually, I don't think there's anything in my armor set right now. It's not part of the base game.
Swapping magazine.
This is all accolade store items. Oh, for real? Yeah. Yeah, for real. This one's free. I don't think there's anything on me right now. I mean, there's some Twitch drops, but like, I'm pretty sure you can buy those pretty soon too. Let's see here. Do we know how much gun strike damage the heroic heavy bolt pistol does in numbers? We do. I don't remember the exact number, but it's like, it is over. I mean, it's pretty easy to check anything in this game in the testing arena mod. But it's over all the other options.
Captain Akaran, no signs of life at
Only when Sanguinius died was the lion mad. Well, considering, I assume most of the Primarchs are loyalists were pretty mad Sanguinius died. He's a cool guy.
To deploy and arm their ordnance. Source one from any soldier you see, alive or otherwise.
Rallying reserve forces. Halt it! Hive beast here.
Alright, grab this. At least 2.
The codes are not here.
Okay. And maybe the Blood Ravens will wind up being a successor chapter of the Lion. Now that would be a crazy lore drop.
Ordnance away. Reloading. Location locked. Xenophile isolated our disgusting tyranid scum.
One of the soldiers around here probably has the code.
Kill this guy. Getting a little rude, aren't we?
We have terminated their request.
All my boys hate Sanguinius dying, as they should. I mean, Sanguinius was one of the coolest Primarchs, if not the coolest. He was kind of written to be, though. The thing about Sanguinius is, like, they really want to make him likable, because otherwise nobody gives a shit if he dies, and, like, all the other Primarchs are kind of supposed to be, like, worse by comparison. Or at least, like, not as, Let's shit on him.
No more surprises from this.
Maybe not worse by comparison, I shouldn't say that. Oh, got him. Can't they just revive Sanguinius anyways? I mean, he's pretty fucking dead. He's so dead, he got, like, warp scarred across the universe. Into his own gene seed. Lorgar is way cooler. I know you're just rage baiting.
Captain, codes retrieved.
Runs up and punts a Termagant. That's why we play this game.
Complete the demolition preparations.
We'll do some community operations after this. But for now, we'll see if we can make it through this. Are heroic weapons worth it? Definitely. Definitely worth it. Kick open the wall.
The path is clear.
Does it take long to grind through all the XP, collecting armory data, etc.? What's the best way to do it? The best way to do it is siege mode, but not for everybody. Otherwise, it's like, what do you call it? Like all these awkwardly placed. Dude, this must be like the worst daily ever with teammates.
Pathetic tyranny.
Hold on.
Remain
Get up my size. Get up, guys. The fact it just litters all these things around is kind of funny.
fresh magazine in.
Come on. Yeah, I do have a whole video on that if you're curious. On the fastest way to level. The heretical XP truth. Alright, it's getting a little sus. For the lion. What's up, Misery? Gotta be a little careful here because getting sniped by one of these is gonna hurt a lot.
Exterminate.
There's a lot of range spam here.
Flag the objective. Disgusting tyranny scum. Changing magazine. Area cleansed of the foul seas. Alien trespasser sighted.
All good, boss. Kind of days until Tech Marine. Me too, dude. I feel like this is like the holdover pass for Tech Marine. Tech Marine's gonna be a lot of fun.
Sow and throw. Fortify your psyche. The stench is sickening. Silence that burning call for more of its foul breath. Another Xenos bioform eliminated.
I do not want to shoot that barrel. I am in radius of that. Heavy bolt pistol is definitely bugged this patch. Dude, like look how haphazardly these are placed. That's so funny. Like, what a stupid modifier. That's so goofy looking. Like who put them all out there?
Fertilizer now, Xenos.
Oh shit.
All specs deep scan ready. Dropping magazine.
I play Sides of the Emperor as a tactical class too. I mean, they're a great chapter. Oh, look at that damage on them. They're also coming out in Astartes too in like a year. A whole ass year that's coming out. Okay. Oh, we'll just go this guy.
Disgusting tyrannid scum. Reloading.
I'd be very careful if I blow these up. Actually, I'm not gonna blow that one up. It'd be nice if they scaled the damage of all bolt weapons just a tad. I mean, I think they're pretty good right now. The modifiers, they're definitely more noticeable on like the hard stratagems, but hard stratagems have an incoming and outgoing damage modifier that's hidden. That lowers your damage and increases damage taken a little bit.
Now.
You are making good time. We are going to need it.
There we go. Bang. We really need more customization slots for our Marines. Hold on. I agree. I definitely agree. The Lion is back. Who said this? Where was he? Did he get the milk he said he was going to get? All the questions. The Lion's back in the Dawn of War 4 trailer. Helping out the Blood Ravens. I mean, he's been back for a while, but now he's like back. He's actively doing something. Which he's also been doing, but like in media. In actual media. Pain. Look at that. Explosions everywhere.
Pathetic tyranny.
Cowled Wardens. We play Cowled Wardens next.
Kill that foe, lest it summon aid. Deployment has begun.
I guess I'll take the Melta Bomb. Sometimes I think they just do go random, like that one that had one modifier that's let you heal your teammates, and another one lets you heal your teammates with the one stim, which obviously let you heal at all. I mean, the dailies are random, the weekly is not. Put it that way. At this point, they should just let Sniper remove the cape slow. I'll be happy with that. You know, they said they're not going to add in any, they have no plans to add in cape customization at the moment, which is kind of dumb.
Hostiles heading to generator.
Down what we have here. I feel like what this game is really missing is like cape customization and having iron halos for all your armor. Oh shit, generator 3.
Together we can secure that generator once more.
Oh shit, am I gonna make it? I have the gun for it. Oh, it didn't fail. I think I got it the last second. If you actually kill the Minoras, it doesn't finish. Okay, I think we're okay. Or did we just lose? No, we got it like last second. That was close.
Generator 4 has their attention.
Okay. So as long as you get the Minoras off, it doesn't matter if it hits 0. They should get caves for more classes and change the pauldron cover of more capes. I agree. I mean, I just want any type of cape customization in this game. The capes are like the coolest part. I mean, just look at the Astartes 2 trailer and the size of the Emperor and tell me they don't look cooler because they have black capes. They obviously do.
Even a humble grave. Newer throat sighted. Aim for its head. Xenos sight are outmatched by Codex tactics. Swapping magazine.
Alright, land. Alright, land. Please land. I can't do it anymore, but... Alright. I be careful with how I play this, because I want to get this guy... So I want to get him low. I don't want to get below the 50% yet. Alright. We're back away. We can dump a lot of damage on him here for free. There we go. What chapter do you absolutely dislike in terms of what? Like just our overall essence, or like... Well, that went pretty well, because as long as we got rid of him there, that's what I was worried about. What's the best weapon for attack? Pyreblaster. almost certainly. And grenade launcher for siege. But Pyreblaster for like everything else. What's your opinion on the Blood Angels or base? Best chapter. Man, the assault bot's taking a lot of naps. He's just sleepy, dude. Alright, I'm gonna go grab this here.
Witness the holy pyre we start in your
And then we're gonna
name.
go and open that box to get a more likely stim.
See no stress in there.
Alright, so now it's stim. Okay.
War gear required.
Alright.
Shock grenade. I will not yield to these wolves.
That was almost really bad. Oh, this might be very bad now.
Commencing all space.
Alright, he should still die from this because our bonus damage is a lot. Do not kill my thing, thank you. He's dead. Us next, probably.
All specs tag the zone throat. You are fertilizing now, Seagulls.
That was almost really bad what happened to us, but that's okay.
Severed the zone throat's connection to the hive.
Was you in rage? Alright, well. A little sus, a little sus.
Changing
I should have known that radius would be way too big. I'm shocked we didn't get one shot. Actually shocked. Okay. Cutting it a little close here.
New scars in the making. All specs ready to scan.
George, thank you for tier 1 sub gifted.
Be ready.
Did the heavy bolt rifle get a buff? Yes. The scoped one is the best headshot damage size firepower now. It did indeed get a buff. Alright, I'm gonna
Swarm sighted. We await your signal, Captain.
hope that this is a stim.
Again, we need that bomb triggered for optimal
Okay,
yield.
let's use that.
Orbital scan estimates the bulk of the swarm will not be in position for a while yet. Keep your heads and get it done.
I see them coming.
What yellow do you run your
Plenty
size? The
of
messy
overrun.
desert. Somebody recommended that to me. It looks way better. Okay, I'm actually like spooked at all the barrels here because these are gonna be devastating if we're not careful. Especially if spore mines decide to detonate them.
Scaling the walls.
You have trespassed on this Imperial domain for too long.
The bulk of the swarm is continuing along the protected path. Continue holding.
Swapping magazine.
Gotta be a little careful, you know. I'm actually spooked. Oh my, cape's so bad, don't we all? Capes are what? Say Incredibles, okay, we can have capes.
Swapping magazine. Stand resolute against the Xenos swarm.
We are surrounded. Turn about.
Alright, are there any barrels I can blow up here? Just not to worry about. Alright, you. Any hidden barrels I'm not seeing?
Fresh magazine.
I don't fear much, but I do fear the OP red barrel.
Halfway there, brothers. Keep it up.
You finished the Reliquary daily now? Damn, I'm scared doing it now. The Reliquary one or this one? This one's not too bad. This one might be horrific with random players, though. Ah, it's just mean. I also use my area, okay. Can I get out of my aim? Thank you.
Another seed of fire form eliminated.
Game is random sticky keys sometimes.
Brothers, they are almost
Alright, we have a frag. I just want the cape so I can make the size from the Stardust 2 trailer. I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking. I also want, you know, it's funny, we have the Ultramarine Regalia on the back. Regalia, however you say it. For Sergeant Matoris, but they gave it to Heavy because Sergeant Matoris, the Bulwark, it doesn't actually have an option for that in the game. Are you playing with viewers today? Yeah, I will be. I was just doing this one. And then we can go do that. I just wanted to have a size team. Was I gonna join you after this? Well, you might be able to, because we're gonna open it up here on the Twitch side, so the code will be there. Alright, let's see. That was a little sus, guys. I'm not gonna lie, that was a little bit rough.
Clear to detonate. Cook those rotten bastards.
Tactical is kind of hard in solo at times. Super strong class in a team, though. Let's show like the nuclear bomb barrels in that one. I'm terrified. There's like a hidden red barrel down there.
Tenant biosites down 90% and fall. Swarm annihilation confirmed. Excellent work. Move to extract.
Alright, there we go, guys. That is the heavy bolt rifle.
Extraction complete.
Pretty good for hard strats. We did use that on a Chaos one yesterday as well, so it does function there. It can definitely punch up. Obviously better versus Tyranids because Tyranids have bigger heads, but still pretty good. Tyranids and Reliquary plus a shield wall modifier, mean as fuck. I was like a Pyreblaster to that, I think. Saw your video about the Hero Power Fist build. Do you think it is better than the similar fencing Power Sword build? A little bit. I think it is better. I mean, you could get a heroic weapon before you even have a relic tier item, so technically you could spam gun strikes on that. You should do this one and let people at the end for the win, but not actually risk people playing. I don't know if I'll do this one again. 43,000 damage on that. Pretty good.